Hey brother! Guys, you all know Hagrid, right? 10 foot tall, 3 feet wide, hands the size of dustbins, keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Lives in a hut, loves dangerous monsters, casual millionaire. Oh, wait, did that last one surprise you? Yeah, today we're gonna discuss how and if Hagrid is actually loaded. Hey, you guys may have noticed a brand new logo in that intro, and that is because we have got a brand new logo. And if you would like to wear that logo on your person, you can now get a shirt available at SuperCarlinBrothers.store. And bonus, if you tweet us a picture of you wearing said shirt, Ben will feature you on his Instagram. And I think you should do it because that sounds like a lot of work for him, and I think he should have to do it. Hagrid lives possibly the most simple life of any of the adults we meet in the Harry Potter series. To the point where, like, I'm not sure he's not 100% responsible for the whole, like, tiny house movement happening right now. But if you ask me, it is kind of crazy for Hagrid, who is a literal half giant and lives in a tiny one-room house with a dog. Me personally, I'm like half Hagrid's size, and I don't even like, being confined into like a standing shower. And I don't even have a dog in there. His tiny lot of possessions would seem to include a single half-giant sized moleskin overcoat, which Harry describes as mostly pockets, another uglier coat, an even uglier tie, boots, some chipped dishware, some tankards, a quilt, definitely not an umbrella, a crossbow, and a barrel. I mean, everyone needs a good barrel, am I right? I mean, I know I've got one at home. She's pretty great. Her name's Chelsea. It has always been comical to me that the largest person Harry knows also lives in like the smallest house, and also ironically on the edge of the grounds next to a giant freaking castle. Why such a small house? My assumption has always been that Hagrid must just earn a very meager salary and that this is simply all he can afford. But the more I think about it, the less that actually seems to make sense. For one, I'm not sure Hagrid himself has to do any of the affording of the house. I mean, since he works for the school and lives on the school's grounds, it seems more likely this is just the accommodations provided by Hogwarts to whoever the gamekeeper happens to be. Which I guess could explain why Hagrid never upgrades. I mean, if you think about it, he's been living on the grounds since he was expelled in his 3rd year. So if he started living in the cabin then, he probably wasn't totally fully grown, so maybe it seemed like more than enough space for just a regular sized man. Or, a 13-year-old prepubescent half giant. That being said though, would he have lived there alone right out of the gate? Figuring out when Hagrid becomes the official gamekeeper is actually kind of tricky. Like I said, he was expelled in his 3rd year, and according to Tom Riddle's memory, only the Transfiguration teacher Dumbledore seemed to think Hagrid was innocent. He persuaded Dippet to keep Hagrid and train him as gamekeeper. And Rita Skeeter writes in her article, Rubius Hagrid, who admits to being expelled from Hogwarts in his 3rd year, has enjoyed the position of gamekeeper at the school ever since, a job secured for him by Dumbledore. Now, I agree those aren't necessarily the most reliable resources, but it is still in keeping with exactly what Hagrid tells Harry almost as soon as he meets him, that Dumbledore let him stay on as gamekeeper. But then Mrs. Weasley says later on that the gamekeeper when she was at Hogwarts was a man named Og, which might not be an issue, except that Mrs. Weasley would have attended Hogwarts after Hagrid was expelled, so then were they just both gamekeeper for a while? Were they both living in the hut? Was Og teaching Hagrid what to do? Did Mrs. Weasley just not see Hagrid the whole time she was at school? When did this mysterious Og retire? I mean, I guess it makes sense that Hagrid wasn't just immediately like, hey, 13-year-old, you're the gamekeeper, do all the professional things. Either way, he's been employed by the school in some capacity since then. Since then, being 1942 and present day in the books ending in 1998 means that Hagrid has been working at Hogwarts for 56 years. Which, by the way, fun fact, that means when he meets Harry, he is a mere 62 years old. Meaning that Harry's first best friend in the wizarding world is basically a senior citizen. I have to say, he looks great. That is 56 years of collecting a salary while also not having to pay rent or a mortgage or utilities or for food, and it doesn't seem like he really bought very many other things in that time either. Of course, we don't know exactly what his salary is, but 50 years of collecting any salary with so few expenses is pretty much always going to add up, especially since Dumbledore seems particularly generous. We know, for example, he offers Dobby 10 galleons a week for a job which must be the lowest paying in the entire castle, and Hagrid is no mere employee. Dumbledore is happy to tell anyone who'll listen that he would trust Hagrid with his life.
I would trust Hagrid with my life.
And we certainly do see him trust Hagrid with other people's lives, like baby Harry the night his parents were murdered, or Nicholas Flamel when he has him retrieve the Philosopher's Stone from Gringotts. Hagrid is someone Dumbledore values highly, and I'm sure he's been paying him accordingly. And all that is even before he even becomes a full-fledged professor. So, the question is Hagrid just quietly sitting on a small fortune? Well, let's examine the facts surrounding what Hagrid is financially capable of and accustomed to in the wizarding world. His first trip to Gringotts with Harry ends up being quite telling in a variety of ways. It goes a bit like this. Harry and Hagrid walk up to a desk and ask to visit the long-dormant, extremely valuable Potter Vault, and then also an even more valuable vault containing the Philosopher's Stone. To gain access to these two highly valuable vaults, he needs to only produce a single gold key, which is the one to Harry's vault, and a letter from Albus Dumbledore. It all seems very casual and ordinary, but just moments before this, Hagrid is telling Harry how highly secure Gringotts is and how mad you'd have to be to try and rob the place.
Take no safer place, not one.
But just consider what is actually happening here. Hagrid gains access to the Potter Vault simply by producing the key to the vault. What kind of security is this? Surely if this place is so difficult to rob, you need more than the key to the vault as proof of identity. Otherwise, robbing someone would be as easy as just stealing their key. Sure, yes, Harry himself is actually standing there as well, but so? I know it's actually him, but nobody in the wizarding world has seen this kid in 11 years, and he's also one of the most famous people in all of the wizarding world. Surely you need some other proof of identity, especially considering the source of the key is Hagrid, who so many other people in the wizarding world just seem to kind of consider a bit of a half-wit, which, yes, I know he isn't actually, but that is just sort of the general impression he seems to be giving off in a lot of the books. But no, Hagrid is allowed not just access to the family vault of the most famous wizarding boy ever, but also access to another more secure vault just by producing a letter from Albus Dumbledore. No other checking for forgery or something? Is it that easy to get down there? Is that how Voldemort got down there later that same day? You appear to be a shapeless, dark cloud of existence, but you do have this note from Dumbledore. Yeah, come right on down. When Harry, Ron, and Hermione actually try to rob the place, they have to take a Polyjuice potion, transfigure Ron, and also hide an actual Gringotts goblin under an invisibility cloak. They approach the desk as Bellatrix, one of the most notorious and recognizable witches alive, who has an even insanely more valuable vault, and even then they are asked for proof of identity in the form of her wand, which they have, and even then Harry has to cast the Imperius Curse to get them past it. But Hagrid, no. What, you have a letter? Come on down, bro. Take the Philosopher's Stone. It can just turn any metal it touches into gold and produce the elixir of life. It's no big deal. Why is this allowed to happen? Because Hagrid must be such a high roller, his vault must be so full of gold that he just gets this kind of insane special treatment. Then, after they visit the vault, Hagrid tells Harry, "Listen, Harry, would you mind if I slipped off for a pick-me-up in the leaky cauldron? I hate them Gringotts carts." Yeah, spoken like someone who has to ride them a lot and deep down enough that the carts get all roller coastery and stuff. Not to mention, when Harry is getting his own money out of the vault, Hagrid takes some time to explain to him the oh-so-simple galleon to sickle to Knut conversions. "The gold ones are galleons," he explained. 17 silver sickles to a galleon and 29 Knuts to a sickle. It's easy enough. No, it is not. Real quick, just off the top of your head, how many Knuts are in a galleon? While you think about it, how many people are annoyed that I'm saying Knut instead of nut? I assure you, I'm right. 493, that's how many knuts are in a galleon. Good for you, that was impressive mental math. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people think America should switch over to the metric system, but I disagree. I think we need to go to the wizarding currency system. Why operate in factors of 10 when you can operate in factors of 2 different prime numbers, am I right? I mean, if you can't easily multiply and or divide all of your transactions by 17 or 29 or both in some cases after getting an education at a school where they don't even teach math, well, I mean, can you even call yourself a wizard? Hagrid can, because apparently to him, this math is inconsequentially easy. Which to me makes him sound like a surprising savant at mathematics, or else that he is handling money so much and so often that these figures have simply become trivial to him. Bear in mind as you contemplate that this is also a person who claimed he couldn't spell the word Voldemort, a word that is spelled exactly as it sounds, not 10 pages earlier.
No, I can't spell it.
Moving on though, let's also consider some of the gifts he gives Harry over the year, because some of them seem particularly relevant and or expensive. First of all is of course Hedwig, a seemingly unique snowy owl amongst all the other brown ones at Hogwarts. Personally, I don't know how rare snowy owls are in the wild, but the fact that not a single other student has a white owl makes me feel like it's kind of rare and therefore probably a little bit more expensive as well. Plus, consider that Percy Weasley only ever gets his own owl after he gets appointed head boy. They get Ron a broomstick for becoming a prefect, and you have to think that head boy is a little bit better than prefect, so owls in general must cost more than broomsticks? To be fair, Ron only got a clean sweep 11, and those are barely even better than the old silver arrows, am I right? Then there's Harry's 5th year Christmas gift from Hagrid, a fanged wallet, somewhere to keep your money safe, something Hagrid clearly values. And lastly, the mokeskin pouch he gives Harry for his 17th birthday, an item he himself describes as very rare, and again is a place where you can keep precious things, as only the owner can retrieve the stuff from inside. A cool detail that could have mattered and just totally didn't. Like, I mean, how many things does Harry wish he'd put in there when the Snatchers came and got all their other stuff? But at least he filled it with trash. Not to mention Fluffy, the giant 3-headed dog he says he bought from a trader at the Leaky Cauldron, which 1 sounds illegal and 2 sounds very expensive. Also actually is the access he has to other various beast-related assets like unicorn hair tails or acromantula venom. Slughorn says you could get 100 galleons a pint on the acromantula venom. To be fair to Hagrid, he doesn't seem particularly interested in harvesting and or cashing in on these assets, but I think it's still worth considering in his total net worth. By the way, does it bother anyone else that Slughorn says he could get 10 galleons per unicorn hair when wands which can cast magic and also have a unicorn hair in them only cost 7 galleons? Like, do all wizards just suck at math? Possibly they do, but one thing I'm sure of is that Hagrid does not. Given his purchasing power, length of employment, lack of expenses, humble existence, and special treatment from goblins, I can only assume that Hagrid's vault at Gringotts is even more full than Bellatrix's. And I know I kind of sound like I've been accusing Hagrid of being rich as if he's doing something wrong, but honestly, if this is true, it just makes me like him even more. That despite vast wealth, he still seems happy with just the humble and simple things in life. And even though he could buy Harry literally anything, sometimes it's still better to just carve him a flute. But Ben, there you go. My question for you and everyone else is, what do you think? Is Hagrid secretly super wealthy? Let me know your thoughts in the towel section down below. Again, guys, I cannot emphasize this enough. If you buy one of our new shirts and share it on Twitter, Ben will have to share it on Instagram. Please go do this. I think it sounds hilarious. SuperCarlinBrothers.store. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. Please leave a like on it if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Harry Potter action from us. If you want to see how rich Harry Potter himself is, you can check out this video right here, or if you want to see how to fix Quidditch, you can check out this video right here. But Ben, that's all I've got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, brother.